What up, what up? It's your boy Akie checking in with another video. In this video, I want to talk to you guys about something that not a lot of people like to talk about. Right now, we just entered the fourth quarter. Started off pretty good. Last quarter was pretty unbecoming just because of a bunch of different bunch of circumstances in my life, such as just deals falling through, as well as just a multitude of things in regards to um, deals not being compensated for properly. So, with all that said, this quarter is already starting off with a bang. I did have to let two people in my company go. Had to let go of acquisitions guy, as well as I'm actually getting ready to fire a cold caller. Um, and in the other business, in the phone business, had to fire another employee just for stealing. And really, all firings are due to not having people align with your core values. Like, for instance, the guy that was on my that was doing the acquisitions for me. I caught him a couple weeks ago actually looking at porn while on the job, and that set me off right there. But in my mind, I was going to give him a month trial type of basis, and I actually had somebody else in the industry have the same issue happen, because what happens is that you know while you're making those calls, you have certain KPIs that you want them to meet. And if they're meeting those KPIs and they're following everything by the book, if they're getting those numbers down, then cool. So here's the thing. Here's the reason why he got fired. It wasn't because of the porn or anything like that. It was essentially because he didn't fit my core values, as well as he wasn't meeting the KPI for the month. The issue was that we needed at least one contract out of him within the first month. That unfortunately, it kind of happened. We got one under contract, but we had an offer range. And obviously, you always want to go for the lowest point in the offer range. He started off at the highest range, which isn't that big a deal. We got the property in the contract. We looked at the property. The property was it was much worse than what we thought, and we had to let him go. Um, there's a bunch of things in business that are, number one, important, and then there are things that are urgent. And this is in the book called The Seven Habits of Highly Effective People. I think I learned this from, where things are important, but they're not urgent. So what I mean by important in terms of the position of being an acquisitions manager, what's important is calling all the leads back. What is urgent is something that could be a deal with today. And that's one thing that I constantly had to be telling him. And that's not really something that you should have to tell somebody if they fit your core values. For instance, my core values in my business is the golden rule, which is treat people how you want to be treated, and uh, enthusiasm, you know, and action, being action oriented. And action oriented was one of those things where I didn't see an enthusiasm, wasn't something I really saw in him, and it didn't fit my core values. And that's what happens in terms of when you're trying to go to a place, that if these people don't fit that mold, then that's something that I had to nip it in the bud. I invested X amount of dollars, a couple $1,000s, in regards to having him use my system. Number one. Number two, use $1. Number three, actually paying him, and it didn't work out. But that's just the cost of doing business in regards to being able to leverage. And because I really don't look at, well, I used to look at that kind of stuff as, oh my God, like my margins are getting smaller. But the way I look at it is, if it does work and this guy is able to get X amount of deals, and this guy is able to allow me to be able to do other things in my business, then we're getting deals. He's getting this amount from that deal, and now I'm over here doing other things in regards to dispoing property, in regards to hiring more cold callers, in regards to looking at other marketing streams, in regards to looking at other markets, stuff like that. And it's really hard on a day-to-day basis. You only have so many hours in a day, so many hours that you can think straight while you're at it. So right now I'm actually doing some calls right here. Actually got 2 properties that I'm looking at that are highly, that were important and urgent, but urgent more importantly. And this is shit that he missed the boat on. This is probably, a couple $1,000s in commissions that he's going to miss out on just because he doesn't fit my core values. Number 2, I don't know, man. So that's what that is. Another guy that I had to fire this week was a guy that was stealing, literally stealing. Both are really stealing if they don't fit your core values because they're stealing away from your vision. But this guy literally stole. Some of you guys know that I do self-ends as well. This guy was literally stealing. Like, I caught him on camera in the POS giving his friend a phone. I went back through the POS and checked it out, and this guy did not scan the phone. And I go back through it, and I asked him about it, and he's just like, his quote was, "I thought I sold it." And my response to him was, have you ever sold, a phone or, an accessory or XYZ without actually presenting somebody with a receipt? His response was no. And, that was that. Next day, he says that he's going to pay for it. In my world, if you didn't do anything wrong, if you've already sold a phone, why would you go back and pay for something? Long story short, this guy, it's crazy. And it's a good thing because I just hired him like less than a month ago. This guy lasted 2.5, maybe 3 weeks. And the moment I hired him was the moment, like the next day, I already knew, like, this guy, he dressed sloppy. He wasn't enthusiastic. Like, his hair looked like it hadn't been combed in a couple of days. And this was just me trying to leverage and trying to, I guess you could say, just really focus on the real estate business. But here's the thing: if you're not hiring at your core values, then you really are cheating from yourself. So this is just a lesson for me to you. Just shooting the stuff with you. I want you to pay attention to this. I'm a guy that's grew up in business, and the family business is something to me that that really is like a solopreneur type of deal where, I'm literally learning I've always heard work on your business, but, this is a part of the learning process, part of the learning curve where I'm out there, I'm taking action, I'm actually hiring people. And, with that comes, actual real life experience where you're seeing things not line up. And when people say to hire by your core values, that's what they mean. I finally, like, you can read that in a book, you can hear that from a seminar, you can go to a hot seat and hear that shit. But it really hit home this past week, 2, potentially 3 people being, having to snap, having to cut, having to snip because they don't line up. So just a quick video real quick. Just had to shoot that out to you guys. I thought it'd be very valuable as you guys are doing deals, as you guys are working on business and stuff like that. Very, very, very important that you're doing that. So that's it. We'll talk to you next video. Peace.